the first funding competition example I want to mention is what we called our natural gas challenge. This was completed last year in 2020, and we announced $58 million in funding toward 20 projects. These projects are diverse and span the upstream, midstream, and downstream natural gas industry. The projects themselves range from drilling of natural gas wells, for example, to renewable natural gas, to artificial intelligence for detecting natural gas leaks, to new ways to produce hydrogen. And maybe if it's all right, I'll highlight a couple of the hydrogen related
Oh,
projects that
please.
are
Yeah.
moving forward from this challenge. And and I pick on hydrogen projects, frankly, because hydrogen is a hot topic right now. It has garnered significant local interest, significant national interest, as well as international interest. So we don't know for sure, but it could very well be an important pillar of the future energy system. And our natural gas industry in Alberta and Canada could be a key supplier of energy for a low emissions or even zero emissions hydrogen economy. And one of the reasons for this is that when you use hydrogen, whether you're combusting it or chemically reacting it, there are no carbon atoms in pure hydrogen, so you don't release carbon dioxide. And since it's much more energy dense than batteries, for example, it can be quite attractive in some distributed or mobile applications to avoid those greenhouse gas emissions, especially those that are difficult to capture and sequester. So a couple examples, and I'll kind of work my way from upstream to downstream, if that makes sense.
Yep.
One of the projects we're funding through the Natural Gas Challenge is from a Canadian company called Ekona Power. And Ekona Power is developing and will be field testing what they call a tri-generation pyrolysis system for hydrogen production. And the idea here is to take natural gas and quite literally separate the carbon atoms from the hydrogen atoms, where you end up with hydrogen gas and the carbon comes out in a solid form. And part of the elegance of this system is that if you put the solid carbon through a fuel cell, you can generate electricity and a pure stream of carbon dioxide, which can then either be sequestered or turned back into carbon-based products, which is a great example of the circular economy at work. Ekona calls it tri-generation because it creates hydrogen, electricity, and pure CO2. So that's one example. A second project I want to touch on is with ACO gas and pipelines, and this is going from kind of upstream to maybe what you call midstream. And this project involves blending hydrogen into ACO's existing natural gas distribution system. They'll be injecting up to 5% hydrogen into a section of the Fort Saskatchewan residential distribution network. And what's great about this project is that not only is it a first step in Alberta in terms of demonstrating that we can get hydrogen to customers using existing infrastructure, but also that this will help build up public awareness and a public acceptance of hydrogen in residential applications and residential homes. Okay, so the third and the final project from the Natural Gas Challenge, or from Natural Gas Project, Hydrogen Project, that I want to highlight is actually not from the Natural Gas Challenge, but it fits in so well with the other two that I want to mention it anyway. You may have heard about this project, which is called the Alberta Zero Emissions Truck Electrification Collaboration, which is quite a mouthful, but is more simply known as the AZATEC project. This was funded through what we called our BEST challenge right before our Natural Gas Challenge, and is a downstream or hydrogen use project. This one's exciting. Well, they're all exciting, but this one's exciting because it will put two actual hydrogen-powered trucks on the highway between Edmonton and Calgary. And as it turns out, this segment of the transportation industry with ultra heavy duty long haul operations appears to be particularly well suited for hydrogen because of the energy density, because of the range it affords, and because there are ultimately no harmful emissions from the tailpipe. So those are a couple examples from our Natural Gas Challenge and incidentally from our BEST challenge.